Now, just days before the COVID-era immigration policy known as Title 42 was set to expire, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts issued a temporary stay of a lower court's order for the Biden administration to end the border policy that prevented millions of migrants from entering the country over the last several years. The decision to temporarily keep the policy in place, which is what that amounts to, comes after 19 Republican-led states requested the high court intervene after an appeals court denied their bid to delay the end of the controversial policy last week. Robert Sherman is live in El Paso with more. Robert, this is kind of confusing for folks, but I think the important thing is that the immigration officials there on the ground can still expel people as of Wednesday when it was set to expire, and that would not have been the case otherwise.
You are correct, Mitch, that a lot of this is tucked away in the weeds, and there's a lot of nuance here with a lot of this immigration law. Here's what I can tell you, Mitch. What you see behind us is the Paso del Norte Bridge in El Paso. This is collectively, with all these bridges going from Mexico, the second busiest border crossing here in the U.S. People here in El Paso, they take pride in being a border town. They love the fact they have a sister relationship with the city of Juarez, which is right across the way. But despite all of that and all of that pride, there are a lot of residents who we've been talking with over the last couple of days who say they are very worried about what is going to be coming from this week should Title 42 not end up remaining in place, and should this stay not end up holding and things drastically change here on the ground. There's great concern that the city could hit a breaking point. We just arrived in El Paso yesterday at the El Paso airport, and this is what we saw. There are hundreds of migrants who are just camped out in the international airport, waiting to figure out exactly where they're going to be going. You see those Red Cross blankets. They're unmistakable. Those people don't have homes. They don't have a sense of direction. Flights are booked up right now, so it's hard to know exactly where they're going to be sent to around the country. But this is what you see all over the city of El Paso here. The mayor's office over the weekend ended up initiating an emergency declaration after a crushing number of migrants entered this city here. The mayor projecting that there could have been more than 5,000 migrants could be arriving in the community daily should Title 42 ultimately end up being lifted. And because of that, we've seen the state of Texas bring about 400 National Guardsmen down here to the border to try and help secure the line and discourage people from making the ultimate crossing here. But the numbers that we've seen as of late, Mitch, show just how drastic this situation has changed over the last couple of years. 2.3 million people were encountered at the U.S.-Mexico border in fiscal year 2022. That was up significantly from fiscal year 2021. And we're already, from the numbers that we've started to see this year, it shows that the numbers have by no means gone by the wayside, that this is still very much so a problem on the ground here. So we know the Biden administration has until 5 o'clock tonight in order to issue a response to that stay order that was put into effect for Title 42. The Biden administration has made clear that at some point, Title 42 has to go away because it's a COVID-era policy that is meant to protect the health and safety of Americans and stop the spreading of COVID-19. And obviously, from what we've seen, a lot of those COVID-era policies have since been rolled back. And we do hear border officials say, like, look, yes, this is not the initial intention of Title 42. It will have to go away at some point. But right now, they say that it is a tool that they need in order to get the job done here at the border. We'll see what ends up shaking out from all this in the coming days. Mitch?
And Robert, do we have an official response from the Biden administration? I know you just said that they know that it has to go away, but have they responded to this specific ruling?
You know, we're still waiting to get a little bit more from the White House. And again, you know, it seems as though we're going to get a more fleshed out response this evening as to what their thoughts are on this. But it is interesting, Mitch, is that the White House saying this week is that their belief is that even if Title 42 goes away, they remain emphatic in their stance that the border is not open, that if Title 42 goes away, they still have Title 8 to fall back on. And what that means is that migrants get processed, they go through, they get their cases heard, and they can potentially be expelled if they don't qualify for asylum. That Title 8 takes significantly longer than Title 42 in order to operate. So that's one of the issues that's at play here. But the White House remains emphatic that they believe they will be able to handle this situation. There are border officials, however, who beg to differ.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.